Is Father Holman here? Father Holman. I didn't think so. Go ahead.
Lord, we thank you for this day. Thank you again for this opportunity we can come here, conduct the business of the county. Pray that as we do that, that you'll help us keep our minds where they need to be, and that we'll make decisions based off and around your word and your glory. Pray that you'll continue to bless this county and bless each citizen thereof. Continue to be with each person, each family that's represented here today. Continue to keep us safe. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Call the meeting to order. First thing on the agenda, we have approved the minutes from the previous meeting. I need a motion, please.
Make a motion.
Motion by Darren, second by Tommy. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Next, we have approved payment of bills. Need a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Neil.
Second.
Second by Brian. All in favor? Any opposed? If y'all got any questions through this while we go through them, just stop me, okay? So, third, we have approved treasurer's monthly settlement. Need a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Neil, second by Darren. All in favor? Any opposed? Next, we have approved treasurer's budget transfers as presented. Need a motion. Motion by Tommy.
Second.
Second by Brian. All in favor? Any opposed? Next, we have approved jailer's payment of bills. Need a motion.
Make a motion.
Motion by Brian, second by Tommy. All in favor? Any opposed? Next, we have approved jailer's monthly settlement. Need a motion.
Make a motion.
Motion by Darren. Second by Tommy. All in favor? Any opposed? Next, we have approved jailer's budget transfers as presented. Entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Neil. Second by Damon. All in favor? Jason, you want to go ahead?
Yeah, we talked about a body scanner, and we advertised for bids, and we got one bid, which is kind of what I was expecting, because I think there's only 2 outfits that in the United States that does that type of stuff. So we'll open it here and see what they came up with. The bid's from Romaine Company. Bids for a dual view full body scanner system, $185,000. And like I said, it's the only bid we received. Anybody have any questions about it?
Is this something that had to be turned in today? You requested
Yeah,
the bids
today
by
was the
today?
schedule.
Oh,
Today was the deadline.
okay.
Yeah, we advertised it for 2 weeks in the record, and today was the deadline on
So we're building a mock jail up there at Fort Knox right now. It's got some high-tech security. If I didn't give it a thought, I could have maybe just reached out to them.
it.
But
This one is my understanding is, I'll try to explain the dual view. I don't know tremendous about it yet, but basically what it does is it takes 2 x-rays at the same time. So you get kind of a dimensional view, which it also has software to pick out, like if someone swallows pills or balloons or whatever, the software will actually pick that out for you in their intestines, so that you don't have to rely on an unexperienced naked eye to pick stuff out. So that's kind of why we try to go that direction.
It does away with the cavity checks too, don't it?
It does, but we can't do those anyway. In order for a cavity search to be done, they have to go to the hospital, which turns into a pretty big expense. And actually, the hospital don't like doing them either. So unless their X-ray shows something dangerous, they won't even do that.
Are you satisfied with that? That's what you're wanting?
This is kind of what the jails are going with. There are some smaller machines. They have a smaller machine that's a little cheaper, but it doesn't have that software with that extra X-ray.
Yeah.
Have you seen this one demonstrated?
I'm sorry.
Have you seen this one demonstrated?
I have a couple of times. I've seen both their machines in use. They're already in some of the jails in the state, so,
Seem practical.
yeah.
So I guess you have to have certain people trained to operate.
Actually, everybody started going to these 4 or 5 years ago. Of course, that's a big expense. And then this last year, I forget the bill number, but there was a bill passed where you could use commissary funds to to make security upgrades, which allows us to use the commissary funds for this. So we kind of waited as long as we feel like we could to make that happen. And we're starting to see with fentanyl becoming an issue, it's a staff issue too now, because that stuff can make you sick just being around it. And we don't see it a lot in Grayson County yet, but we're just starting to. So we want to try to be ahead of the game on the drug side of it too. So that's kind of that's the reason we went ahead and pulled the trigger on it. And I think this is the best machine out there, at least right now.
Make a motion.
Motion by Tommy to go ahead and purchase the bid that we received from the jail.
Second it.
Second by Darren, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Thank you all.
Next is accept sheriff's monthly settlement. Need a motion?
Make a motion.
Motion by Darren, second by Tommy, all in favor? Any opposed? Next, we have accept Grayson County Fiscal Court audit. We've sent that to you all. You all had time to look over it and look at it. And I just want to give a big shout out to Senator Meredith back there for helping us out with that. There was a couple of things that brought up on it that we knew wasn't correct, and he, I don't know, what it'd take, 2 days? It was not fixed. So, thank you, Senator.
2 days of some direct conversation about the 2 weeks of private.
Yeah, so everything's good with it, so we need a motion to accept that.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Neal, second by Damon, all in favor? Any opposed? Infrastructure Commissioner Gray Thomas.
Judge Henderson, Fiscal Court, I want to thank you for giving us the opportunity to speak with you tonight about your county's infrastructure needs. With me, I have Paul Sanders, Chief District Engineer, and we'll be able to answer any questions that you might have. I want to start off by quoting Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln once said, "Things might come to those who wait, but only things left over by those who hustle." And in Frankfort, we have a governor who works hard every day, who hustles every day to bring jobs to Kentucky. Over the last 3 years, we've had over 49,000 jobs created, $18 billion in new business investment, $86 billion in exports, and it was just reported last week that for the 3rd straight year, Kentucky set an exporting record. And now the Commonwealth has the lowest unemployment rate since the year 2000. More Kentuckians are working now than ever in the history of Kentucky. So that's good news. And in order to continue this economic success, we have to have a strong infrastructure. And Governor Bevin has challenged all of us, no matter what walk of life we're from, to have goals, to have a vision. And Governor Bevin's vision for Kentucky is for us to be the industrial manufacturing hub of the United States. He has said on multiple occasions, he wants the governors of Texas, Florida, Tennessee, Alabama, Indiana, you name the state. He wants the governors to one day wake up and ask themselves, why are our kids going to Kentucky for work? And so our job in the Transportation Cabinet is to help see his vision come to fruition. And Governor Bevin has been adamant that we work with you at the local level to address your critical infrastructure needs in the county. I mean, who knows best than local folks, right? You drive these roads every day. You cross these bridges every day. You know what the county's needs are. And that's why Governor Bevin wants us to continue to build our relationship with you, to partner with you, to help and see if we can address some of these infrastructure needs. You know, there's a lot of infrastructure that's been neglected over the decades. And if you take Tennessee, it's about the same square mileage as Kentucky, but we have double the bridges and we have double the highway miles. There's over 14,000 bridges in Kentucky. There's 53,000 county road miles. and 27,000 state highway miles. So there's a lot of infrastructure that needs to be taken care of. Now, Judge, we've had multiple conversations, and what I'm gathering is, this county's not just overflowing with so much money you don't know what to do with. Would you agree, magistrates? Would you agree with that? Well, at the state level, we have limited funding as well, and that's why it's so critical that we do work with you to try to prioritize and assess. This county's no exception. There's other counties. There's a lot of other counties in the Commonwealth, and the partnership that we have and the relationship that we have in addressing and assessing some of these issues, I think, can go a long way in trying to get some of this done. So I think the media has dubbed this the listening tour. Call it what you will, but we want to put action behind it too. So we want to get your feedback. It's very important to get your feedback. So lay it on us. I know Paul's here quite a bit, but if there's something that that needs to come to our attention, please let us know. We're a phone call and a short drive away, and we're more than happy to look at whatever needs to be looked at. But that would be a good opportunity to bring some stuff up.
Like I said, I want to thank you all for listening to me. I've talked to them down there about where Randy Saltzman's is at. I went down there today. Me and Mark Stone went down there today. And I mean, it's really washing away. And I just talked with them before we started the meeting, and I want to thank them for listening. And they're going to make a point.
Yeah, and I'll tell you guys, and I know you're new, and some of you don't know. Paul's the guy that you talk to in District 4. He knows about anything. He can put you in the right direction. And of course, the commissioner's been, how long has it been? How long have you been on? About a year?
Yeah, it'll be a year next month.
Yeah. So, and I just want to say, and I mean, it doesn't hurt having a senator in your county either. But that your all's office and Governor Bevan and everybody has worked so good with us, because it's sort of like we've been behind the 8 ball for a while, and we're just sort of trying to play catch up, and these magistrates get a lot of phone calls about their roads and and this and that. And like I said before, and they know, we're not sending something that we're not doing political favors. We're doing complete restoration of the county roads, I guess you would say.
Exactly, it's needed.
Yeah, but guys, you got any questions for them or anything?
I said I had none with them, so I appreciate their time.
Y'all can't be this easy, can you?
Well, in that case, we're going to go.
But just a couple of things, some of the things that we got coming up. Of course, we got the 62 widening starting at the bypass here in town going out. Hopefully by May, we'll have that out to letting. So we should see some construction this year and then going into the next year. Of course, we've been working on the bypass. That's a big thing. So we're working on preliminary design. We got some more funds authorized, obviously, to help work on that. And the county and the city have been big into that project. So we do have that looking forward to coming down the pipe. We've got an HSIP project. It's a safety, hazardous safety project that we're going to be doing this year on 12/14 that you'll see going on this year. Got a couple bridges in your all's area that we're going to do bridge deck overlays. Bear Creek Bridge down here south of town, the 88 bridge down there at the Hart Grayson line's going to get an overlay on it, and then on 2310 we're going to do an overlay on that. So you're going to see all that work coming on this summer. No, this is out of our bridge maintenance program.
That's not in the Bridge, Kentucky.
No,
Yeah.
this is separate. That's separate deal. Now, the bridge in Kentucky, obviously, we got Horntown Road that should be let in April, and then Taylor Fork, and then there's, I forget the other one. That should be let this year also.
Me on Ferris.
Yeah, I can't think of it.
I'm drawing
Yeah,
a blank too. I'm
Well,
sorry.
magistrates, have you heard of the Bridge in Kentucky program? Have any of you heard it?
Yeah, we were
For
talking.
those of you
We
that,
talked about it.
Oh, you already talked
Yeah,
about it?
we talked about it at the fiscal
Okay.
court meeting. So it's a good thing, getting the bridges updated, alleviating all the dysfunctional ones that are out there. So that's just a few things that we got coming up this summer, along with the resurfacing program that we got. Also, you'll have your money for the roads coming up, so we'll see a lot of blacktop hopefully this summer.
Yeah.
And then we also will have a parkway rehab down at the 88 to about the 91 mile marker that'll be done this year. And then for us, we're also going to do an experimental rehab project on the Parkway. We would actually mill it up, reheat it, add a rejuvenator to the mix, and then lay it back all in one whack. So it'll be pretty interesting to see how it goes. This paving train's about he told me it was 900 feet long. It's unbelievable to see.
Where you doing that at?
I just know it's down towards the Ohio County line, be down in that area coming back this way. It's a 6-mile section, if I'm not mistaken, we're doing.
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting, because as far as I know, it's one of the first ones in our area that we've ever done. So, just want to share that with you all.
You guys got any questions?
You guys got business cards?
Mine's out in the car. It really is, so. But,
If y'all need them, I can.
Yeah.
And like I said, Kevin knows where to call. If you remember, by all means, call it to the district office.
Yeah, I was gonna tell you too, Paul, I had a call, after we had our meeting at Lincoln Trail, someone asked me, and it just slipped my mind to tell you, I told Mark about it, and guardrails on Duff Road, down in that hill area, we've had 3 fatalities down there, probably in the past 2 years, I guess.
We talked probably,
Duff Road 631,
I think we talked about that.
did we?
Yeah,
I couldn't remember.
we did, but that's okay.
And the one, the motorcycle accident, how long that guy lay down there, Jerry?
Over a month.
He was deceased, I mean, he
Sure.
lay down there about a month.
Yeah, I can't remember where we talked about that. I remember after you started.
It's terrible, and I had another call on it, about state highway.
And of course, the problem, I don't want to say problem, but how our guardrail program works, we get so much money here to go towards placing guardrail up. And it's on a ranking system, so the information is put in the database. What comes up top priority, obviously, that's where we start at. So it's another reason for some more funding sources.
well, how long of a length are we talking about? As far as
How
for
long is it there?
guardrail need?
Half a mile, quarter of a mile?
Probably more like a half a mile, because it goes through the hills.
Yeah, some of it's not.
It's a real steep,
bad.
it's a pretty steep,
Yeah.
steep holler there that, well, you can't even, if a vehicle goes up there, you can't even see it. I mean,
No, it's, one of the hollers is probably double as tall as this building is.
There's a vehicle down in there, isn't it?
Yeah, they can't even get it out.
Get it out.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you go down off in it, you probably ain't coming out.
we would really like to get those up if we could.
But it's
We'll
just
see what
something if you could look
opportunities are out
into.
there. I'll get with you, Judge, about that.
Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be great, so. And like I said, y'all got anything for Commissioner or anything?
I just want to thank you all for coming.
Yeah.
And
Thank you.
Thank you all for all y'all been.
trying to help us, appreciate that.
And once again, I mean, I talked to Gary some back when, he was commissioner also. And I just Paul's been great, everybody at the office up there, at the state office, and, I hope we get to keep it going, because, I don't think people understand in the county how well our administration worked with your all's administration and how much you all helped us out in infrastructure. I can't thank you enough. I tell you every time I see you, that, we appreciate it, so.
We appreciate it, and just kind of follow with what you're saying. I'll end on this. Governor Bevin has told a story a couple of times that when he was campaigning in 2015, he's driving throughout the state. Some of you may have already heard this, but driving throughout the state, and I'm not going to out the county tonight, but he's driving down this highway, and he sees orange barrels up ahead. And he slows down, and he pulls up beside, and there's a bunch of orange barrels. And he looks over inside this big hole in the highway, and there's 2 more orange barrels inside because the hole had grown bigger since the barrels were laid out. So he started asking some of the locals, why is there a big hole out in the highway? And the response he got was, well, our county's not of the right political persuasion. Now, that's nonsense. Does that sound right to anybody? All right, well, magistrates, let me ask you this, magistrates. Who in your district, don't be shy, has all Republicans or all Democrats living in their district? Anybody? Okay. So I want to ask another question. It's not a trick question either. When you lay down blacktop, what color is it? Right, it's black, right? It's supposed to be. It's not red. It's not blue. We don't have Democratic or Republican roads. We have Kentucky roads for Kentucky people. And Judge, I appreciate the relationship we have. Like I said, we're here to help to see if we can resolve some of these critical infrastructure needs. And the days of playing political games are over. And you can't put a price on our families' lives, on our children's lives, whether, you know, a section gets resurfaced or a bridge, you know, gets repaired or whatever. Those days are over. And we're going to address these issues throughout the state with the money that we have. We're going to try to be efficient with it, and we'll try to be respectful of the county's needs and work with you to get some of this stuff done. So like I said, we're just a phone call away, and give us a call anytime, and we're here to help.
All right. Thank you all. Thanks a bunch.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, guys. All right, moving on. We need to accept annual budget for Grayson County Conservation District. Mr. Shull? And I'm not gonna, I ain't gonna call you Mike, it was Mr. Shull in school, so.
That's because.
I used to call him Mike in school.
And you can tell him, go ahead, I was the best student you had.
Exactly.
Mr. Mike, I didn't want to call me a while ago.
We're all excellent.
Thank you, thank you.
Not to mention the young lady that's there beside me. It's like kind of like a reunion. Okay. Each year, in accordance to Kentucky Revised Statute 262.200 and House Bill 1, we present our annual budget to request operating funds for the upcoming fiscal year. And we'll give you a very brief overview of some of the programs in our office. This year, we're requesting an increase of $1,960 to cover the expected costs that we anticipate for the upcoming year. Now, I think all of you have been given copies of these. Okay, now, I told you what I'm asking for, now I'm going to tell you why we think we deserve it. Okay, we're located down at the USDA Service Center on Commerce Drive. We try to reach out to the different citizens of the community. So each year we visit the schools. We hand out trees for Arbor Day and for the conservation purposes. We also distribute the seedlings to landowners as well. We have been contributing money to help the youth of Grayson County attend conservation camp. Through our office, landowners in the county are able to receive funding for programs that will allow them to enhance the productivity of their farm while promoting conservation. Now, we work in conjunction with NRCS, FSA, and other agencies to provide assistance to landowners in the county through these programs. This year, we anticipate paying out close to $113,571 to state cost share funding. The conservation stewardship program payments will exceed $310,000. The environmental quality incentive program will put over $170,000 into the county. That adds up to $594,000 plus that will go into the hands of local farmers and county businesses this year. That does not include the fact that we also partner up with the FSA office, and they set us up these programs that we have for conservation as well. And we did include that. We also would like to remind you, we still have $2,600 in a fund it was for tire recycling, and you guys informed me that the state is picking up the tab for that. If you have an illegal dump site, we would like to participate in that, something that helps. And I believe Darren, we've already talked to Steve, and she's looking into possibilities where we might utilize that. I have three budgets with me, and you have all three of those. One is our office here. The other two are the Big Creek Watershed Conservation District and the Caney Creek Watershed District as well. And I will try to answer questions on those if you have any or anything else.
Anybody got any questions? Like, if y'all haven't been down there, they do a lot of stuff in that office, and
Yes, they do.
really helps out.
It helps the county a lot.
Stuff like that.
I know they do.
They do a good job.
Yeah.
Any questions? Make a motion to approve.
I'll make that motion.
Making a motion to approve the budget for Grayson County Conservation District. Motion by Darren, second by Damon, all in favor? Aye. All right. Any questions on the budget for the Big Reedy Watershed Conservation District? No questions, I entertain a motion. Motion by Neil. Second by Brian. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Next, I have accept the annual budget for the Caney Creek Watershed Conservation District. If there's any questions on that, if not, I entertain a motion. Motion by Darren, second by Tommy. All in favor? Aye. And would anybody be from Short Creek or?
Yes.
Okay. You want to speak or anything on Short Creek?
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we're gonna call you Mr. Joyner.
Yes, sir.
He gonna call roll, and you can call us whatever you want.
I sat here thinking about how many
You gonna tell Joe?
different
Yeah.
Grayson County fiscal courts I've stood before and offered our budget to, and
Yeah.
I think that Charlie Bratcher was the county judge when we
Yeah.
started. Kenneth Goff was the county attorney, and there's been several down the line since then. I appreciate the opportunity to come before you all today and ask you to approve our budget. Just a little bit about our budget before we get into the details of it. When we were organized back in the early 50s, when we were discussing the possibility of having a Short Creek Watershed Conservancy District and coming up a referendum to vote for it or against it, we had some hill farmers that were against it. Well, they said they couldn't understand why they would have to pay taxes to protect those of us down in the bottoms. And I could understand that, and my neighbors could too. So we talked it over and decided to assess ourselves so much per acre, prorated on the number of acres each of us had in the watershed conservancy district that was flooded. And we established ourselves a trust fund with the idea that we would not levy a millage tax for that district. That has held true all these years down to the present time. I couldn't guarantee you that there would not be board members elected in years to come that would levy a tax, because being a governmental agency as we are, we have the authority to do that, but have elected not to, and it's an understanding that has been before the board ever since its conception. The budget that we are offering today before you, and you have copies, I'm sure, of it, is not much akin to what really goes on. We're so regulated by higher-ups, want of a better term. When we established our trust fund, we invested it in the stock market and other places where we could get a return on the investment. Our idea was to start with a certain size trust fund, and that it would accumulate enough dividends to maintain the project. Well, interest rates and things have changed. Not only that, the higher-ups said we could only invest in certain areas, and so that limited our income somewhat. And then they said we had to have an audit tell us how we could spend our own money. And we have to do that. That costs us money. And then we have to have our Secretary and Treasurer bonded. Costs us money. So it's not as simple as we had thought it would be to start with. But basically, we have to show on paper that we spend everything we have. If we were if we were levying tax, I could understand that. We justify what we were taxing people for. But we're not about to spend our trust fund. we're gonna keep that and keep it active and providing income for maintenance. But it has curtailed that income somewhat by some of the regulations that we have to put in place in regard to our investments and the bonding of our officers and such like. But as is presented to you, the numbers that are listed here would indicate, like I said, on paper, that we'll spend everything, but there's a number up in the top on the right-hand side. It's 79,000 something, the best I can see there. We started with 20-some thousand and have built it to that level now, and hopefully to get it some higher than that, and it will maintain the project. I might add that we members have maintained it, used our own equipment and our own labor to maintain the project to most degree, and that maintenance has proved to be effective. The inspectors say that we have one of the best maintained projects in the nation. They tell us they don't know of any other project in the nation that has funded it in the way we have. I'm proud of my neighbors and all of the ones that cooperated in establishing that fund and maintaining the project now. And I ask that you would approve our budget for this year.
Any questions for Mr. Joyner?
Looks like you've got plenty of money.
I don't have a question, I'd like to make a statement. I want to thank Mr. Joyner. He's been on
Hey, Mr. Chairman,
the Short Creek Watershed Board, I believe, 66 or 67 years.
Wow.
And, what was it, 19, we was talking about on the way up here, was it 66 or 67 years you've
I
been
don't
on?
recall the exact year, but when they brought the engineers in to survey it, to see if it was economically feasible to do the project, they needed a chairman of the board. So I think they appointed me chairman of the board. I don't remember for sure. I'm the only one left of the original board. The original board was Mike Porter, myself, Wayne Patterson, Cecil Purcell, and Dr. Litzy. Watershed projects that are all if the project is contained within one county, you only need 5 board members. But where it's more than outside of one county, then needs more, is Caney Creek and Big Reed. That was in the early 60s that we did that.
Mr. Joyner, we appreciate it, and we thank you for your service.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Joyner.
Thank you for everything.
I think, and I'm proud to be a part of it.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Joyner.
I make a motion that we
Motion by Darren, second by Tommy, all in favor. Next, we have approved the sale county property. Do they have a copy of that? All right, what that is back a few years ago, if someone come to the county and want to donate their property to the county, and don't know the underlying factor, didn't really ask. But anyway, we've got the deeds and stuff that's already been prepared. One is a parcel of land, 6600 Duff Road. You probably correct. 6600 Duff Road, and it's all been appraised, and it appraised for $102,000. It's 57 acres. And all this is already in the county's name, by the way. There's been 4 other parcels that were sold before you all took office. Was it 72,000?
Yeah, before expenses, parcels 57.
Yeah, it's 50-something thousand after expenses and everything that's already been sold off of this, from this actual person that gave us this property that's deceased. The other one is on Aller Street, which is a lot in the metal building here in the city of Litchfield. It appraised for $4,000. Doesn't have an actual physical address on it, so it just says Aller Street. There's actually 2 lots on, it says address 9 Lakeside Drive, which is down on the lake, and PBA has it appraised value of $20,000. Okay. And there's also another one at 3912 Shepherdsville Road. And it's in Louisville. And they've got it, it's just evidently a lot, and they've got it valued at $740. And PBA up there does. I'm just asking you all to, I don't know, I'm not in the lake lot business for the county, and we're not in the farming business either, so we just need to go ahead and sell these properties.
The 66-acre parcel, in that appraisal, is it valued at any timber on that appraisal?
No, we don't have that. That's just PBA appraisal. So, from my understanding. Dan King? Okay. Dan King appraised it for 100
If
too.
he mentioned some on the timber, I didn't know.
If he, I'm sure he would have put that in there, you know, if it had timber and stuff on it.
We have the appraisal.
It'd be my suggestion that we auction it all off. Just auction it off. Instead of taking sealed bids, let's auction it.
Yeah, because if there's any there, they'll find it.
So, that way people will see, you know, they go out there and look at it and see what it is, so. But, it's, you know, it's not costing us anything except sure ain't doing us no good either. So, another thing is Angel went down through there the other day with 57 acres, and you've probably been down there too, Darren. There's been people riding on it and going on, you know, I don't wanna have something, somebody's gonna get hurt on it and be liable for it. So, don't you agree, Jeremy? I mean, probably the best thing to do is let it go.
Auction it all off.
So that way, if you got any questions afterwards, you know, you can get with me and I'll tell you a little bit more about it. But that's about pretty much all I know about it. This was a
What lake is those lots on?
rough.
Rough?
Probably down off 110.
Oh,
It's off of 110. Now, if you go down 110, turn right, instead of going towards Green Farm, it's out in there. But this happened a couple of years ago whenever this person came forward and they actually, you know, they passed away, and we just got the deeds here recently, so. I need a motion to go ahead and approve to sell this, go ahead and sell this property.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Brian, second by Tommy, all in favor? Any opposed? All right, then we got updates from committees, Parks Committee.
I've been on the phone all this week. I talked to Tammy Saltzman, you know, she goes to the city, and I talked to Kevin Johnson out of Clarkson, and I talked to Ashley out of Caneyville, and Daniel Gary doing the softball group. They're all in the process of getting ready to pick their teams and stuff, and I told them, I said, once they get ready for the fields and stuff, they need a little bit or whatever, just get a hold of me. So I talked to every one of them this week.
Okay, good. What about the road committee?
We're working on it.
Okay.
It's a whole lot to look at. Me and Mr. Whiteley's been approaching the situation, but it's gonna take us a little time to give you a proper report. A whole lot of damage throughout the county, as we all know.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of water flooding damage.
We're hoping to get some good news on paving coming up too, you know.
Yeah, how do y'all think that, I haven't asked you all, how do y'all think that work order list works in my office?
I think it works well.
Yes.
When you all
I really
call
do.
in?
I think
I've had one call since January,
About
literally,
roads?
literally.
Sometimes I'll stop at the garage coming through, sometimes, on mine. but
I don't know,
I-
I don't know the answer to it, I don't have a problem with that, but I
Well, a
literally
lot of people, we get, it's worth 100 phone calls.
and you all might be just getting them instead of, but I have had.
We get about 100 phone calls
Yeah.
a day.
I get a few,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I will say this, it works well, the way it's set up for the second district. And, I mean, it really works well. I've called in several things and they'll be fixed sometimes the same day, sometimes 2 or 3 days at the most, right? I mean,
Yeah, I wanted to see Mary Ann one time this week.
Ms. Damon, is it going pretty good out
The
there?
girls are really proficient and pass the word on. I couldn't see nothing that would improve at this point, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Girls should be
The
commended.
guy, I'm telling you, the guys at the road
Road
department,
department,
they're doing good.
Yeah, I
How
stopped
about
down
the
there.
gentleman that was in here, Butch, that was in here last 2 weeks ago, that
Yes, I
was out
take
with
it
Robbie's
back.
district?
He's in Robbie's.
Yeah,
they
but
cut off road.
Did anybody pursue that, or what was
Nelson
that?
Road?
I spoke to him yesterday.
You spoke to Butch?
He had asked if there had been any more discussion of it, and I told him there really hadn't been. That would be something I'm
Yeah.
sure we would be seeing to, and maybe Mr. Whitehead there and myself can possibly.
That's something that, widening of the road that, we'll just have to get with the property owners. I mean, you know, we got.
Was
the
it
right of
widening or
way.
fixing what's there? It's bad.
Well,
But
it's,
it's, what causes the problem, our judge?
People get off the
The
road.
lake.
Yeah.
the
GPS,
little-
the GPS for us
Bypass
causing
Can't
road.
fix it.
but y'all tell me, you ain't telling me
No,
nothing.
you know,
It's
I
a
know.
bypass.
Yeah,
Is
it's
what it
bypass.
is.
That's right, it is a bypass.
Yeah.
I use it every
I use it
time I get off of WK.
Yeah, and I think what we probably need to do is just look at it and widen it, because it is, I mean, they're using it as a bypass, but there's good and bad with that. Whenever you widen it out and make it bigger, the speeds go up.
Damon, that's
Do we need
about that.
Jared, I mean, Jared,
Good.
you gonna be able to go out there?
Oh, yeah.
Whatever, yeah, whatever you need.
Can you mention these guys tonight, Judge?
Huh?
Mention these guys tonight about it?
Oh, yeah, that'll be. yeah,
I'll be
great
sure to tell
deal.
Lloyd about that later. I'm just curious where that went. I knew he'd fit here.
Yeah.
Judge, I've got another question that kind of pertains to the same issue. It's in the road, Old Oak Grove Road. GPS in our area has been sending trucks.
I got
large
that call.
trucks through there.
I've done got the signs made.
I thought you did, but I just wanted to brag on you a little bit. Yes, I know you did, and I think that's about the only way to approach that.
Yeah, and it's all you
And
can
it
do.
is
And I
happening.
think what it's doing is the shortest route.
I don't see how it could be.
I don't
one of those
either, but I
guys.
think that's what it is, and
You're
GPS
going
is
the other end of
sending them that way.
224, I mean, but I don't
Because
see.
Senator Meredith got this complaint too. Do you remember when they was sending everybody to the industrial park to St. Paul? And that they called and it was just a glitch in the system.
I think that's what.
You all remember that? Remember the city talking about all that? And they finally got that fixed, where it's finally sending them, turning them left because people was going right to St. Paul.
Well, what about the Nelson Road? Can anything be done about it on the GPS there?
Well, see, that's a hidden secret.
That's it.
That's a hidden secret that everybody
GPS
knows
probably
about.
That's been going on so many years, that
Yeah.
everybody's just in
You know,
agreement.
nobody wants to, I'll bypass Clarkson, go Nelson Road. That's what they
When
do.
you come off the
Pull
old
their
right
brakes
there,
and
y'all.
stuff. It's just, we're just gonna have to widen the road a little bit in that area.
It does drastically need it.
Building committee,
I've been talking to him. Has he got back with you about the bricks?
done sent it to us and sent it to the insurance company, and we haven't heard back from him yet.
Okay. I knew I
Something's gonna
talked to him, and he
happen.
said he was going to.
Me and Jason's got together on it, so, but we're gonna have to, that's something that's got to be done on this building here.
Yeah.
And, so,
I didn't look at it, but I seen it on the ground.
well, and we plan on doing something with the courthouse after we move out with BVA and the county attorney. Jeremy's gonna take that one side, and, so y'all probably we'll be asking a lot of questions about, you know, building issues.
The
So,
library, it's looking good now.
yeah, and the old, if you haven't been up to the old library, you need to go look at it, because it is gonna be
And Lane
nice.
Bowls, like-
Yeah, I went by there today.
Is it close to done?
Yeah. We're gonna move about mid-April, I
Yeah,
guess.
gonna have a ribbon cutting.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, about mid-April, we'll have, of course, occupational tax will be there, solid waste management will be there, emergency management will be there, me, accounts payable, treasurer, Mary Ann's going, of course, HR, which is Frida Alexander, she'll be there, so it's sort of gonna be one stop. You ain't gotta run all over the county to find somebody. They're gonna be in one building. So it'll be a whole lot better. Anyway, what'd you say? You told me. Okay, all right, gotcha. New business, Jared, you got anything? Jason?
Nope.
Darren?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Mr. Bain?
Is this anything we need to discuss? to us or bring
No.
that forward? Okay.
No, I've been dealing with that for years.
Okay, I just,
We went back and found the previous business. So what it is somebody's complaining about a road, the changing of the name of a road. And so we went back and researched it back
I seen where you
14 years ago. And the fiscal court approved to change the name of the road. Somebody's moved in up there that lived back up there in the 60s. They don't like the name of the road and they want to change it back, and it's been approved, it's in the minutes, so we can't change it back.
I just want to be brought apart when I
Yeah.
think my person.
Yeah.
Nobody
it's-
complained to me yet on it, I'm sure they will.
Oh, it will.
That's
Brian,
okay.
you got anything? Neil? Jeremy?
Just briefly, I want to update you all. I've been working with Kevin on a few different things for the county that are in the works. I'll probably present a lot of those next time. I want to give you all the heads up. That smoking ordinance is coming up on April 9th. I'm going to get you a draft of some things I draft up beforehand, hopefully a few days before. And so I'll get that dispersed to you. The other thing that I have today is just trying to take care of something quick. I've got a deed here that I'm asking the court to consider adopting this property from Jim and Sharon Snyder. They are tired of paying county taxes. They live in Florida. It's lots 36 and 37, Ely Land and Development Subdivision. It has a value of $2,500. Basically, where the judge was asking you all to sell those properties, this is how we kind of received those properties. So they're wanting to give this property to us. I draft up the deed, sent it down to Florida. They've signed it, notarized it, and I'm just asking for the court to make a motion to adopt that property to become.
Can we sell that with the other?
Should we wait a month or so, Jeremy?
Is there any liability tied to it at this point? Is there any liability, anything on the property that causes issues later?
No, I don't believe
No
so.
big pile of tars or anything like that? Well, I mean, you know.
Well, I haven't inspected myself, but,
Well-
we could have someone
That might
inspect it.
What it is, I got a letter from this guy twice, okay, once last year and once at the beginning of this year. He's a nice guy, and he just said, look, I ain't coming back up there, I ain't ever gonna be back up there, and I'm tired of paying the tax, I'm tired of getting the tax bill, and I'll just give it to you. And I said, send me a letter. He sent a letter, and now we've got the deed. I mean, I can't make it up, I'm telling you the truth, so.
Since you're gonna sell those, we just, didn't say bunch it in with them?
Yeah, that's fine.
Do the same way, yeah.
What's the fiscal address so she can put it in the minutes?
Well, that's,
Or what the road name or?
It was lots 36 and 37 of what?
Ely Land and Development Subdivision. And I've got the PVA in my file, but we can get it to you. We had a deed, I think they inherited this, and then it came into a living trust. Now the trustees want to give it to us.
Okay. I need a motion to accept the deed that Jeremy has prepared into the minutes. And motion by Tommy, second by Darren. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And next, need a motion to go ahead and sell said property.
I make a motion, sell it with the rest of them.
Yes, motion by Tommy.
Second.
Second by Darren. All in favor?
Aye.
Thanks, Jeremy. Anything else?
No, that's all. I'll get with you to sign it.
Okay.
We'll get it taken care of.
Senator Meredith?
Briefly, sir, if I could, I'll speak from right here.
Absolutely.
Appreciate you being here this evening, and such a wonderful reminder of how fortunate I was to grow up in Grayson County, particularly when I see guys like Leon Joyner here. Few people remember or even know that I wasn't born in Grayson County. We moved here when I was in the 3rd grade, and one of the greatest blessings of my life, in part because I had teachers like this man.
That's
Because
right.
when you're in his class, he knew you. You weren't a number, you were a person. And I can't begin to tell you what a positive influence you've been on my life, and I know of hundreds of other people in this community. We thank you for all that you do. I personally thank you for what you've done in my life. God bless you. Just as how proud I am of this county. The Judge and I have a lot of conversation about the future for Grayson County. And quite sure, I think we've got more potential than any county in the state of Kentucky in terms of moving forward. We've got all the things here. We've got the parkway. We've got the 2 lakes. We've got a good school system. We've got a good medical system. We just bring all this stuff together. And part of it is transportation. We know what we need. I'd like to think a little bit about the 2020 session. It's going to be here before we know it. And I know we're going to deal with tax reform. And I know we're going to have to deal with the road fund. Because in spite of all that we want to do, we're going to be limited by the fact that there's not much money in that road fund. And it's getting tighter every day. What I'd like to ask you folks to do during this next 9-month period before we go back to session is talk to your constituents and see what we want to do. You know, there's a lot of discussion about having an increase in the road tax. I know nobody likes increasing taxes, but this is the way we move this county forward, and it's an investment in our county. And if we do these things, it's going to help reduce the overall tax rate in the future. But we've got to educate people of that, and I think that may be the most pressing issue during 2020 is what are we going to do with the road fund, because we can't do it fast enough. So again, I just ask you guys, talk to your constituents, tell them the situation we're in, what we're planning for the future, and how quickly we can get there if folks work with us. But we're not going to force anything on anybody, but this is a big, big issue going forward, so I'd ask that of you. And lastly, just appreciate the opportunity to serve you. Look forward to working with each and every one of you. I think we've got a great fiscal court. I think we've got some great city governments here. If we just work together, we're going to be amazing what we can accomplish for Grayson County. But
Thank you, Senator.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
And you're talking about it'd be a gas tax, I'm assuming that's on, and me and Senator has talked about that. And I think, and Commissioner, I think me and you were speaking about that up there at the conference a couple weeks ago. And someone brought up that Indiana has this tax, and has this tax on, and people was afraid that gasoline was going to go up. And it was, and I can't remember who was actually speaking on it, and said that they done a poll of around different states that actually had this, and in some spots, their gasoline was cheaper than ours, and they had this tax on it. And I thought, well, that's absolutely, that's amazing, but I guess I don't know how that works. I guess everybody's in the pot whenever stuff like that's going on. I don't know, but we was up there and they was talking about that, and if you cross the river and see, I mean, gas is no higher in Indiana than it is here. But then you go into Indiana, and there's red cones and orange cones everywhere.
They got good roads.
They're working on roads everywhere. So I don't think people has a problem with spending money as long as they know what it's being spent on. That's what I've always been told. It's but I appreciate everything you've done for us, Senator. You know how much it means to us. Help us tremendously.
It's great to have a good group to work with, and I just want to convince you again, this is an investment in our community. When we talk about how we created jobs in Kentucky, we're certainly seeing it here in Grayson County. We have moved, I think, 70,000 people for the Medicaid rolls in Kentucky by gainful employment, and that equates to saving millions of dollars for our state, and that's what we have to do even here in Grayson County. And by doing this, I'm firmly convinced that we'll reduce the overall tax burden by people if we're willing to invest in this infrastructure that we know we need, that we can create jobs.
Absolutely. Anybody got any questions?
I want to introduce Joe Plunk in the back there. Stand up, Joe. He's a good friend of mine. He's like a son. He's out of the Warren County State Office.
Oh, okay.
He wanted to come up tonight because he knew they was going to be here.
Okay.
So he called me, and I just want to introduce y'all to Joe Plunk.
What's he do?
He's tell him what y'all you do, Joe.
Well, I'm Paul's counterpart. in
Yeah, okay.
Bowling Green.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, don't come in here thinking we won't put you on the spot.
Yeah, he's the next one.
Okay, gotcha,
That's somebody you need to know.
gotcha.
Down the road.
Yeah. Anything else, any other questions? I need, on new business, I need to approve an ordinance for amendment number 2 of the 2018-2019 fiscal year. I think, have we already got a read on that once, or? No, this, we just, okay. Angel needs this done, so approve the ordinance for an amendment number 2 of the 2018-2019 fiscal year. Need a motion and a second.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Neil. Second by Brian, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Is that all you need? Old business, anybody have anything? Darren? No.
Nope.
Anybody in the audience got anything, want to share anything? Media, you got any questions? I guess that's no.
We got them.
Huh?
We got them, we just asked for it.
Ask later, yeah. All right, need a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion.
Motion by Darren, second by Tommy, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
You doing a picture tonight?
Yes, sir.
Well,